Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hope everybody's doing good today. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We are back on a Tuesday, a very interesting Tuesday. We're going to be talking about not only the actual altcoin outlook for 2026, later 2026 and 2027, but I want to focus in on these new rules that we have coming for the actual cryptocurrency market. And there's a lot of things that are happening right now in the background. I don't think we're going to get the Clarity Act. I thought we were going to get it this year, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to roll downhill. You have a lot of issues with the Sheriff's Association. You have issues with all the credit unions in the country essentially are going against the stablecoin yield. They don't want any kind of yield given for any reason. It doesn't matter if it's held. It doesn't matter if it's activity-based. These loyalty program type, credit card type rewards, they don't want any of the yield to be distributed at all, you know, across the board. So that is on the table again. Ethics, I think we're done with ethics. I think the White House kind of signed off on the ethics situation. But when it comes to the banking industries, the Sheriff's Association, and then you have other outfits as well that want their specific language put into this bill. I don't think it's going to work out. So here comes the SEC, right? You have the SEC and the CFTC. They're saying we already have rules that we can put into place to get this thing going. And this is what we're going to get into today. I want to do a deep dive on the rules, how it's going to affect altcoins going forward. The safe harbor issue, I want to really tap into that as well. And we're going to get into the market too, because there's some things that are happening with Bitcoin and with the altcoin market as well. I see XRP kind of dip below $1. Everybody's grumbling about that. The XRPers are grumbling about that, but I want to talk about that because that's not really, I don't think that's very important right now, because XRP will get back to, you know, the points to where, you know, I believe it's going to get over $5. It's going to take a while, but that's not what I'm worried about. I'm more worried about what the SEC is going to impose and how it's going to affect not only Bitcoin, but Ethereum as well. We're going to talk about Russia too, because Russia is doing some very interesting things as well. So I hope you guys are doing good. Another hand clap for you guys as well. And let's go ahead and get into it. So the market, you know, we're consolidating, right? It's not 59,000. It's not what I thought it was going to be. You know, my 50K floor, I don't, you know, when it comes to the ETF vehicle, it's doing pretty good at holding this $64,000 floor. And I want to bring this up. Let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin. We're at 63. So we did breach that 64, but going past 60 is going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard for Bitcoin to get below 60K at this point in time with all of this ETF push. You have ETFs, record ETFs. I think the actual net outflow on August 11th was actually $144 million. That is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought the exodus was going to be more dramatic than what I'm seeing. But when it comes to what, you know, happened in Russia, you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum and USDT, which really shocked me, that are being embraced in Russia. Now on a retail level, not so much, right? Everybody's running. Everybody in Russia is trying to put all their crypto in hard wallets. You know, they're trying to move offshore with their crypto, do their things. I don't think that's very smart, because Russia is very, very strong. They have strong language against retail involvement in crypto, which is, that's not an issue over here, but I'm just saying, when you think about what Russia is embracing, they embraced USD, they embraced Tether, which is interesting. Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, they're going to be doing a lot of trading within the top three. Let's just go ahead and say the top three. So, I mean, that's bullish in a way, but at the same time, it's not good for that retail sector in Russia. Now, we're bringing it back to the US because we're lacking leadership when it comes to regulatory, you know, language. But the SEC, Atkins is saying we can do this. The CFTC is saying we have laws, we have the rules. We're going to specifically cookie cut what we think is important, and then we're going to go ahead and put this into law. So they have the meeting set for this week. I think it's the 14th of this week. We're going to get into that deep dive of what is to come, because I don't think we're going to get the Clarity Act. Now, here's the thing, when we're talking about $63,000 in Bitcoin, and you know, ever since June, it's been downhill. It's been very consolidatory between July and up to this point. We got up, I think in May, we were flying high, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose geopolitically. we're not even going to get into that because that's a whole nother powder keg. That thing is out of control. Donald Trump has lost complete control of the Middle East. That is a whole nother video. But when it pertains, and when it actually, and it's starting to run parallel to not only crypto, but the stocks as well. We have oil moving back up. So that's going to affect a lot of buyership within stocks. And then you see Bitcoin, it's kind of moving in between gold and tech. It's trying to find its own identity. And it's very hard for Bitcoin to do that right now because of all the actual reliance on the news. The news cycle is very bearish right now. Okay. So you have $63,000 Bitcoin being held by ETF inflow and outflow. This is dictating Bitcoin's actual movement, ETF inflow and outflow. August 11th, we had $144 million that was streaking out the back door, right? We're talking down negative 5% within a 30-day period when it comes to ETF inflow and outflow. Pretty interesting, but we're still above $60,000. So I think we can take that into consideration. And I think we can be happy about that because we really should be around 50K, but we're not. This is not what we're looking at. Now, when it comes to the actual price effect on the other alts, let's go ahead and look at it because Bitcoin is down within the 7-day period of 1%, almost 2%. You have Ethereum down almost 1% when the 7-day period down 24/7. I'm sorry, 24-hour period down as well. Across the board, ETH is down. ETH has work to do, but it's not going anywhere. Tether being embraced in Russia still blows my mind, but you know, it's going to be their stablecoin that they're going to use institutionally. BNB, $600, doing quite well. BNB has had no problems weathering the storm. A lot of great things with the Binance chain. New blockchain coming next year. I told you guys about that. That's going to be very interesting how that rolls downhill. USDC, where does USDC fit in when you have USDT being embraced in Russia? So the Circle situation being that they cannot generate or offer yield, they use third parties for that. Where does this stablecoin go if the banks get their way? This is the thing. RLUSD, there's another prominent stablecoin in USD1. We don't know what's going to happen with that after the Clarity Act. After this ethics bill passes, what happens to USD1? Because we do know that Trump wants that to be the #1 payment stablecoin in America. This is why he built it. You know, this is why it was erected. We'll see how that goes. Solana is cruising at $75, up almost 2%. Tron is up across the board. Not sure why. There are some issues there infrastructurally. Big time hack on Tron. But it's up. It is what it is. And we know who holds the majority of those coins. So he pretty much dictates the price. I'm not even going to get into that anymore. $54 for Hyperliquid, down 3%. This is a good buy. I think it's a good buy-in because Hyperliquid is going to be pretty interesting going into the next 5 years. Down 2%. Is it a dip for most? Not really. I don't think people's going to buy this dip in Hyperliquid, but I would keep this on my watch list. And you could be looking at something that could possibly explode well past $100 within a 2-year period. You do have Aster making some movements as well. Some new upgrades with Aster, I just noted. So Aster launches AOS2 with a 1 million Aster listing stake. So Aster is trying to make moves, trying to get into that market share. Hyperliquid is the king there. So Dogecoin is sitting at 7 cents. You have Zcash, privacy protocol, doing some great upgrades as well. Trying to get back to $500. Monero, another privacy protocol, up 8% within the last 7 days. So that is performing quite well. You have Chainlink too. It's trying to get back up to $9, up 4% across the board, down slightly within the last hour. So these alts, some of them are moving to their own beat and some are actually moving with Bitcoin in the actual sentiment, which we have a fear and greed score still in the unappropriated area. We do not need it to be at 36. People are paralyzed. Now, when you look at the actual RSI, we're definitely seeing some paralytic actual values. I want to move to this RSI. Deadlock in the middle. Everybody's trying to like weather the storm, trying to figure out where to go, looking at news, looking at Trump, looking at geopolitics, looking at the ETFs, following Michael Saylor. What is he doing? Everybody's trying to figure out what to do. We're still in the middle. We're not oversold. We're not overbought. 45.87 is going to be that actual RSI score. So you have a lot of traders that are in the middle and they're just holding. You have some that are, you know, buying a little Curve, buying a little Luna. I don't know why anybody would buy Luna, but you do have that is going on. Let's see. Joe Bill, he says, remember what the SEC Hyman ETH free pass speech did for the ETH price? Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're getting that, you know, Joe, we're getting that video. We're going to get the actual announcements this week on the 14th. I want to get into the actual rules though, because there's some things I want to point out, because some are good and some are pretty interesting. And I want to dive into the safe harbor situation too, because I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. All right. It's good for the devs, but it's going to be bad for the devs. I mean, for the investors as well of these said projects. We'll get into that here in a little bit. We're definitely going to get into that. Getting back to this market report, I'm looking at a lot of traders that are they're dumbfounded. They don't know what to do. Okay. Again, you have some TRX overbought situations, which is really interesting to me. I'm not sure. We're going to look at TVR in a minute too, because that's very important. But I mean, TRX, BNB, Link, I can understand Chainlink getting, sliding into the overbought, territory. But TRX, I'm not understanding what's going on there. I really don't. But that's another conversation for another video. Essentially, you're looking at a paralyzed moment for a lot of investors. Now, a lot of people are in the red. So I get why you're paralyzed. You don't want to take a lot. You don't want to sell right now. And then you get this massive pump in 2027 and you lose all your gains. You sell too quick, especially if you're holding something like Link, XLM, right? Solana, even if Ethereum, Bitcoin, all these alts that even AVAX too. AVAX is going to be huge. You don't want to sell those. You actually want to buy these dips. Not financial advice, but strategically you have to move like this, because if you do get, fall into it, I don't want to be too crash, but if you fall victim to the fear, that's what makes you do these unconscionable, things. These impulsive moves when it comes to clicking the sell button. That's when that happens, when you fall victim to fear. So you just do your research. Is my portfolio safe? These tokens and coins that I have in my portfolio, are they linked to projects that are going to either fade away, or are they going to weather the storm? They're going to be compliant and they're going to be okay, and they're going to prosper. They're going to continue to build. These regulatory, leeways that are coming, this language are going to be prosperous and advantageous for these devs and these ecosystems that I'm holding in my portfolio. If the answer is yes, then you do not sell, right? But if these projects that you're holding, like these people here on this chart, if that they're going to go away, if the incoming regulatory language is going to implode them, and the devs are going to run away because they don't want to be compliant, they don't want to KYC, their ecosystems are not going to be compliant, their blockchains are going to be rendered dormant. That's when I'm going to sell. That's my cue to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, the fear is within me, and these particular said tokens or coins, they need to be out of my wallet immediately, because they are not going to do anything for me in the next 5 years. They're just going to be paperweights, and they're going to slowly bleed my portfolio, until these said coins go to zero. You got to get them out of your portfolio, but you got to know which tokens and coins to move, and that is going to happen when you do your research and when you use these technicals, and when you just, basically contact devs, contact community members, get into the TGs and the Discords, look at these white papers. Are they feasible? Are they going to be compliant? Is the infrastructure compliant? If not, get them out of your portfolio, please, and get into something that's going to prosper, because we're going into this tokenized age, and this is where you want to be. We're going to be talking about a pretty interesting situation that's on the Robinhood chain too, that I did an actual video for the members. That thing just went live. So we're going to be talking about this, because this is one of the most unique tokens that I've seen by far in some years that I've been in crypto. And it's this dev team is moving with the time. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get back to this market report. So just to sum this up, as we are looking at the top 25, we already went down. Stellar, 16 cents. Everybody's worried about XRP. It did dip under $1, but it's going to be okay. XRP has a plan. It's back over $1, by the way, but it is down 60%. That team's going to be okay. REUSD, the actual ledger, XRP is going to be completely okay. It's fine. It's a commodity. It's good. Clear pathway. We're going to get into what's going on with this SEC, because it's going to make some things move quite differently, because I don't think we're going to get to clarity yet. Although we have a vote coming, it's not going to pass. So Paul Atkins is like, don't worry about it, guys. We got this covered. We got this covered. So let's go ahead and move to the TVO. I want to get a little look at the TVO, because this is important as well. Very, very, very important to take a look at this. We're talking global TVO. So we're down slightly, not by a much, slightly below 1%, but this is to be had. This is what you're going to have when you have these reductions, these fluctuations, this fear. You have an RSI that's paralyzed. Okay. You have people that are wondering, where do I go? Do I go the tokenized route? Do I go the RWA route? Do I go the meme route? God, no, you don't do that. Unless you just want to gamble, it's okay. I'm not saying it's not funny. I dabble here and there. If I see a meme with a great narrative, I jump on it, make a couple of hundred, maybe a stack or two, and then I'm out. I don't hang around for the party, because that's when you lose. You get wrapped up into the meme party and the TGs and the Discord. You get to dancing and on the spaces, drinking and having a ball, and they're bleeding you while you're hanging out in the space. The devs are bleeding you dry while you're hanging out in the space, chatting it up, laughing, your wallet's getting bled by these cricket meme coin devs. So you have to move quickly. You have to stick and move with these memes. You can make some money, but stick and move. Now, financial advice is what I'm saying. I'm not getting down on the DGen effort. I do dabble, but I stick and move. That's what I do with memes. I stick, and then I pull my money out and I move around to the next one. And I don't fraternize very, very much. Maybe one or two memes every 3 months, I jump into, but the narrative has to be great. I don't just get in memes, just for the shits and giggles. The narrative has to be great. It has to have community push, and it has to have a real dev team that is doing some decent marketing. And obviously the narrative has to pop. But I digress from that. $75 billion situation we're dealing with, global TVO. And I'm okay with that being down almost 1%. We're good. Stablecoin volume is dipping as well, but it's supposed to. Look at the market. Look at the fear index. Look at the RSI. Look at the global metrics when it comes to, and the macro too as well. But look at geopolitics. Okay. Look at geopolitics. The moon is coming, brother. We're going to moon. But we got to get past all this bullshit. Once we get past the bullshit, we're good. We're golden. That's what I'm saying. Don't sell the good gems. DCA and buy these dips. If you know those gems that you have in your portfolio are going to succeed in this tokenized arena that's coming up, DCA, because a lot of investors that aren't doing their research, they're going to consolidate into stable coins because of the fear. Be a smart investor. Do your research, and if you're invested in something that's going to prosper and the foundation is set, especially if it's geared towards facilitating tokenized assets, tokenized commodities, things of that nature, do what you do. Suzuki, what is going on, brother, man? I got a link up there if you want to come up and talk a little bit. It's pinned up top. Wish I had done that with Parchain meme. Stick and move, baby. Stick and move. We got caught up in the meme party there. We all do, brother. We get caught up in the meme party. We get caught up in the TGs and the Discords and then the spaces. We get caught up in that, and while we're laughing and joking around, and I'm not saying all of them are like this, but the majority are. 95% of them are. And this is done by design, okay? Just to throw you off, just to kind of throw your attention off while you're getting bled. It is what it is. I hate CCC. You said all memes went to zero. Yeah, man. I was looking at an actual article and some charts earlier at about 12 of the most prominent memes. And I was looking at them and I was like, gee. And these are good memes that pumped hard. They're done. And I was looking at the actual wallets that were still there and new buys that were coming in, hoping for a pump. Just dry hope is what I like to call it. And I just felt so bad because there's a lot of people that were trapped. No liquidity to get out. So you got to be careful. Stick and move. Make sure the narrative is good. Make sure it's fresh. It's not, I'll tell you this. If it's 4 hours old, it's a wrap. Most memes really barely last an hour after launch. Some don't last 10 minutes and you're done. So be careful. And I'm gonna get off the meme because I don't want people to think I'm, I'm getting on the DGens. It's okay. I do it every now and then, but I'm very smart with it. That's all I'm saying. Be smart with it. Okay. So Again, you have the TVO report. I want to get into TVO. It's the only memes I bought that didn't go to zero is a redo. I'm slightly below break even. Yeah. Again, there's some good ones. There's some good ones. I made a lot of money in 2021, 2022. You know, obviously I know the good ones. I know what the good ones look like. But you know, I might do a video on how to pick and navigate the meme season, because 2026, 2027, the memes are going to be different. They're going to move different. All right. You need to know how to get involved in these because they're going to be slightly regulated too as well. I might do a video on that, which is interesting. I can't wait to see the framework for a meme coin regulation. But again, I'm getting off topic here. And I got some news to get into as well. But TVL, listen, TVL across the board is great. And these microcosms like Monad's TVL, Monad, this is crazy what Monad is doing. Almost $900 million, very, very young situation. Slightly down just a little bit. Everything is down just a little bit on the TVL, right? But this young situation is booming. It is booming. But I digress from that. When it comes to the entire situation, when it comes to global TVL, don't sweat it. DeFi is solidified. And this is why the banks are scared. This is why you have the credit unions that are coming against the actual stablecoin yield. They are afraid of this because they know once this goes live, I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. Okay. Once this goes live, okay. CCCP, I'm gonna get to that. I'll give you a nugget here in a little bit, brother. What's the next narrative to pump? I'll give you a nugget because I've actually been thinking about that. Once it goes live, a lot of these banks are the capital flight is real, and they know it's real. They want this language to be changed to where no one can get yield by holding a stablecoin or even activity based, which is the new markup. The Genius Act, it's already saying that the issuers can't do it, but there's a loophole there. The credit unions of the United States are saying, no, we can't have this. We can't compete with look at this global TVL, bro. It's $74 billion right now, and mass adoption hasn't even occurred. So when you get this language passed, DeFi, the floodgates are going to be open extremely wide, and you're going to get a flood of exposure to what we've been enjoying for years. If you've been in crypto, you've been getting crazy yield, not only on your stable coins, but on your alts as well. If you provide liquidity, you've been killing it. This is about to be open to the public. Okay. And once education gets out, do you think people are still going to rely on their actual brick and mortar accounts to give them 0.01% yield on their actual money when they can bring it to DeFi and get over 6%? The banks are like, oh, wow, we're dead. There's no sane human being that's going to continue to get, bottom basement yield when they can move to DeFi. Now we do got to secure DeFi. DeFi has very, very interesting holes when it comes to hacks. We need to secure this. We need to do better with security with these decentralized applications, and that's coming. But with that being said, it's going to be heavily regulated, and it's going to be very safe for a lot of the account holders that are in brick and mortar to bridge over into this. And once they get a load of the yield that they can get, it's a wrap for the banks, and they know it. That's why they're trying to stop this. So the SEC, CFTC, they're like, okay, we don't worry. We're going to get some laws in place. We're not even going to worry about the stablecoin situation. And that has the banks rattled too, because if we don't get the Clarity Act, the SEC is like, we're not even touching stablecoins. The CFTC is like, we don't care about that. We're just going to go with these core initiatives just to get the ball rolling. We're going to talk about that. We'll do a deep dive on those core initiatives and what we're about to see coming up on the 14th of this week. Suzuki says, can't wait for the frame coin pump and a dump. Oops, did I say that? Oh, you're being a bad boy. Suzuki, you're being a bad boy. I listen, I get it. I get the frustration, bro. I get the frustration. Let's go ahead and get into this report, man. I want to get into the SEC report. And there's some news too with the Trump crypto.com situation. That is crazy how that treasury was canceled. Not good for crypto.com. They built this up. You know what I'm saying? They put some money behind it too. They're getting ready for this. And then Trump media is like, yeah, we don't want to do it. Not going to do it. I think it has a lot to do with the ethics language. So I want to get into a little crypto news too, real quick before we get, do this. So just briefly, before we get into the SEC situation, and then we'll get into some alts too, that I want you guys to, specifically the index, crazy altcoin you got to know about. Okay. So we had Aster launch AOS2. This is going to be a $1 million Aster staking situation. plugged into the Aster platform. I don't think it's going to catch Hyperliquid in price. Possibly. Is it a good buy? Maybe. Just keep a watch on that. Keep a close watch on that. You have Bybit, which is trying to sell. Is suing North Korea. And a lot of people are actually saying this is going to actually work out for Bybit. They're going to sue North Korea, and it actually may work out and benefit Bybit. Now, I think they're trying to sell that exchange right now. It's not going very well. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Trump media killed the Crow Treasury deal. And a lot of people saying this might affect the entire crypto treasury movement. It may go backwards after this because I think Trump media was leading this charge. So will we see a reduction, a reverse mode in the crypto treasury when it comes to brick and mortar and Trump media of like situations, buying and gobbling up a lot of crypto ETFs? We'll see, because we did see Grayscale. They pulled back on the ETF basket, but it wasn't a bad deal. It wasn't a negative situation. They have to actually do all of their, and I think LMFG, you just brought that up in the chat too. I see that. See, what court do you sue North Korea? That's a good question, bro. He said I need to sue Communist China for viruses. Yeah. Interesting. LMFG, I've just brought that up, brother. So it's not an issue. The actual Grayscale pullout is not an issue. They have to resubmit new paperwork because the second the CFT, they're about to actually lay down some rules, and they're going to go into effect. They're going to vote unanimously to put this into effect because the Congress has failed. They're morons. They completely failed us. So you got to have some type of core infrastructure in place so we can move forward. This is what the seconds are going to do. Okay. We're going to get into the core initiatives. There are 3 that are going to be very, very interesting for us going forward. And there's some more to it as well, but they're just throwbacks essentially. Paul Atkins, CFTC, they're not going to bring back these draconian rules. They're going to regulate appropriately. And this is what we need. Maybe this was by design what was going to happen initially. Maybe the Clarity Act, all this with Loomis, Tim Scott, all the Thune, all of this ethics, maybe smokescreen essentially. I don't know. But we're about to get some rules, whether we like it or not. And we'll get into that. But again, you have some very interesting things going on here in the news, especially with Russia. I want to get into this. So Russia names Bitcoin, Ether, and USDT for regulated crypto trading. This is very interesting to me because they've completely banned retail trading in Russia. But institutionally, they're going to be able to reap the benefits of yield, the actual benefits of Bitcoin, Ether, and using the USDT coin, which is crazy, which is interesting to me. Oh, and I wanted to get back on the what LMFG posted about the Grayscale pullout of the ETFs. And essentially those ETFs, they got to refile their paperwork. They're going back into the ball game, but the paperwork that was already filed, it's null and void because of the language, because of what the SEC is about to do. So they're going to have to reform, they're going to have to recalibrate that whole situation. And they're going to resubmit those applications, but they're going to have to add some things to them. They're going to have to amend those particular paperwork. This is what's happening. A lot of the actual entities are going to be doing this, resending and recalibrating and resubmitting. You're going to see that. There's really nothing much to do about nothing with that, essentially. It's just a paperwork thing. That's it. That's it. We're going to get these ETFs. You better believe it. This is the way. Now, the ETFs, hopefully the baskets that I've seen, especially with Trump media, with the World Liberty Finance basket, a lot of them are tokenized asset giants. They're going to be facilitating a lot of RWA traffic. And this is what you want to invest in. And I'm going to give you, we're going to look at the index, because when I tell you RWA is about to take off, and they're about to be the thing, they're about to issue new tokenomic platforms, I am not joking. I am not joking. We're about to see tokenomics 2.3.0 essentially. That's about to come out. And I'm going to give you the platform that's actually spearheading tokenomics 3.0, because this is the way forward. It doesn't get any better than this, but I digress from that. We'll get to that in a little bit. Russia's central bank has proposed allowing Bitcoin, Ether, and Tether, which is crazy. But here it is, USDT, to trade on regulated exchanges as the country prepares to open its new crypto market framework to investors. Now, you have to be accredited. You can't just be regular retail. Retail are moving their actual crypto assets into cold wallets. I seen a article about that. All the Russians are like trying to buy cold wallets and move and hide their crypto because they're banned. Only institutions in accredited Russian, situations are going to be able to reap the benefits at this point in time. Now, as far as the Bitcoin mining, I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know what they're going to do with that. I know they banned that in a lot of sectors in Russia, and it was due to energy constraints and things of that nature. It's weird. I'll do a deep dive on that later on, probably next week. Why would Russia allow Tether? Isn't Tether totally U.S. company? This is the thing. I don't understand that either. but this is what's going on. Tether actually deployed an American-based stablecoin. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's a very interesting question. CCP. So Suzuki says, wait till BlackRock repaper lates their BTC ETFs. The actual Bitcoin proposal failed. That the hard fork, I think they were splitting the actual, they were trying to split Bitcoin essentially. So what hits first, Frame or this right here? Interesting. Interesting. I'm still watching Frame. We'll see. I still want to know what it's going to do, what it's going to facilitate. If it's going to be in the RWA market, I'm all for it. It's going to do very well. That ecosystem is going to be facilitating RWA trading. It's going to do very well. And anything that moves that way is going to do great going forward. Okay. This framework is interesting. Okay. The Bank of Russia, just a brief little intro to this, because they already have that crypto language. We are the only ones over here out west. We're the only ones that are bullshitting around. Congress has failed us. We are behind the fold, not only in AI, because don't fool yourself. We're behind in AI as well. But crypto regulation, we are so far behind because of Congress, because of this witch hunt against Trump. But I digress. I don't want to get too far into that. I digress. Just a little bit about the Russia thing, okay? Qualified investors will face no purchase limits for crypto traded on exchanges or over-the-counter markets, although testing requirements would still apply. So you have to pass a test to be able to trade crypto, okay? A lot of retail is going to fail that test. The proposal follows Russia's new crypto law signed in August the 4th, which gives the Bank of Russia authority to decide which digital currencies can enter organized trading. Heavily regulated. Suzuki says, who else is doing RWA-based tech? We're going to get into that, brother. We're going to get into that. Central Bank is accepting comments on the proposed list and related requirements, and they're going to actually come with their actual notes on that. The Russian, the Central Bank over there. August the 24th is when we're going to see that Central Bank's, actual responses to this. So Russia's like, let's do it. Let's do it. We're ready. Everybody's ready but us, and I understand why Trump is frustrated. He's a crypto president. He was brought in. He was heavily funded to be the crypto president, right? The crypto vote was huge. Best ever, okay? Probably, I think, the first ever. The crypto money was gargantuan, okay? No results. No results at all up to this point. So it is very a negative situation. Just to conclude this, the Bank of Russia says Tuesday that the 3 crypto assets that they have actually included in the actual fold in the proposed list of digital currencies that could qualify for organized trading based on requirements covering market capitalization, trading activity, and price history in overseas markets. So they've been observing things. A lot of people are like, oh, they hate crypto. They've been observing everything for the past 5 years. And now they're ready to go. Okay, Bitcoin, Ether, and USDT, which is befuddling to me, meet the regulatory's proposal criteria because they have sufficient market size, average daily trading volume, and at least 5 years of trading history outside Russia. USDT has issues, but I guess the Russians don't give a damn about that. They don't care. Where's the gold? Yeah, I'm going to move on. Because apparently Ron Paul's son, went to Fort Knox and he said he saw the gold. He didn't confirm it, but he said he saw gold. I don't know. You could take that for wherever you want it because the USDT says they have gold, but they have no audits for it. But I digress from that. Suzuki says, besides Ripple and Centrifuge, yeah, we're going to, those are just small chips right there. We'll get into that. It's a big market. Is a lot of them like AVAX, that's not even on anybody's target. That's going to be an RWA giant. Okay. And Chainlink and XLM is going to be right in the middle of all that, along with other chains that are facilitators and Oracle-based platforms are going to be involved heavily in it as well. Any platform that's going to be transferring and dealing with data transfer, going to be involved in this sector heavily. Okay. This is what's happening in Russia. So the big three, BTC, ETH, and USDT, big time endorsement out of Russia, going to be used heavily. Okay. Just wanted to bring that to you because I thought that was interesting. Very interesting. So we're going to get into these actual laws and let's get into the brief clarity update, because this is how we're going to get this SEC involvement, which is pretty sad, if you will. Let me see what you said. LMFG said, I hate CCP. SC consistent development. Independent reporters place Polkadot near the top tier. Let me see. Hold on. I think I got some news on that. I actually do have some news on that. We're going to get into this. There we go. Boom. Had a little lag there. So I want to get into LMFG's comment before I get into this. So it says independent reports place Polkadot near the top tiers for active or monthly core developers, providing continuous code maintenance and engineering. Okay. I need to do another update on Polkadot. I need to dive into that because I've been watching Polkadot. Polkadot kind of lagged a little bit, right? I'll get into that. Look, I'm very interested now in DOT since I saw your comment, brother. Suzuki says, though I smell funny business with Tether in Russia, I do too as well. Americans have been burnt coming to a poor neighborhood near you. Listen, they have their actual own stablecoin that they made for America. I don't think I like that either. Especially formulated stablecoin for America. What the hell is that? CCP, what he says, wait, is Tether proof of stake or can it be turned off for Russian during sanctions? No, but the Tether has actually shut down a lot of activity. Our government has sent requests and they've actually honored those requests. So they can shut down activity. They can reverse activity. They've done it before. And that's going to be one of the qualifications under this language. If the US government says you need to reverse something, you bet you're going to have to do that. And they're going to they want a backdoor key to every platform. It is what it is. They want you to hand them an extra backdoor key. If you are partaking or servicing anybody in the financial sector when it comes to DeFi or things of that nature, any type of marketplace that's, custodying any type of funds or assets, they want a backdoor key. So they can pop in every now and then, do some audits, grab some paperwork. This is how it's going to happen. This is what's coming, guys. So when I tell you the market, the actual altcoin space, the infrastructure space is going to consolidate down very, very quickly, it is, because a lot of these devs are not going to want to give up those keys, right? They're not going to want to do these disclosure forms quarterly if they're deemed a security, and a lot of them are ancillary tokens under the language. Now, that's if the Clarity Act passes. The SEC, they're not going to deal with all that. They're just going to give us core rules to get the ball going. They're not going to worry about the stablecoin yield fight. And I actually like that. I'm kind of hoping that this works out this way because I love my yield. I love my stablecoin yield. Tether is a wolf in sheep's clothing, CCP. It essentially is. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, if you understand what I'm saying. And it's to your comment about it being a CBDC. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's the best way I can explain Tether, if you understand what I'm saying. So the White House vows to pass the Crypto Clarity Act. We're going to get into this core language that the SEC is coming because the SEC, Paul Atkins, doesn't believe that the Congress is going to get it done. So they're already ready with the laws. Okay. Patrick Witt says that the Trump administration remains fully committed, though, to passing the crypto bill, adding the U.S. cannot afford to wait forever. The bill now faces 60 vote test coming in September the 15th. Guys, it's a wrap. If it hasn't happened by now, it's a wrap. It's not going to happen. Midterms are approaching us very, very quickly. So, and we already know, most of us already know what's going to happen. Either something weird happens domestically and the midterms are canceled, or It's going to be a bloodbath. And the Clarity Act is going to be shelved into 2030. And you know why? I don't think the Democrats, if they do get the majority, I don't think they give a damn about this. Okay? So here comes the SEC. Now, this September 15 vote, I'm not even worried about it, right? I'm not even worried about it. And Andrea says there is zero chance to make a commitment like this when you have this. And we're talking about Miss Warren here. She's the main reason why. Along with other situations with the banking community, Credit Unions of America, or 300 Credit Unions of America, a lot of them, Sheriff's Association saying we don't even know what the hell is going on. We have to enforce this and we don't even know what the hell blockchain is. This is what we're dealing with, right? So we talked about the Russian situation. Now here's where we're at. We're about to get into these laws. This is what we're doing. The SEC is set to vote on a landmark crypto rule. This week, the SEC has scheduled an open meeting Friday, August the 14th, with one item on agenda. Commissioners will vote on whether to propose, and this is important for the space guys, regulation on crypto, a new offering regime for crypto investment contracts. It marks the first formal crypto rulemaking on the Chairman Paul Atkins to date. I think this was part of the deal. I think this was essentially what was going to happen. I think all this Clarity Act bullshit is a smokescreen. This is what's about to happen now. Regulating crypto is expected to give projects a path to rise or raise capital without triggering full security registration, which is great, right? CCP says he loves Elizabeth Warren. We like to call her Pocahontas. That's what we like to call her. Without triggering full securities registrations. Now, teams could also exit SEC jurisdiction once a network is no longer active. That's the safe harbor law. I think that's pretty cool for the devs, but not so good for the investors who are left behind. We'll get into that. It's cool for the good investors. I mean, good devs. Now, for those lame ass devs, those asshole devs, this is a get out of jail free card. We'll get into that in a little bit. The notice landed Monday night with unusual short lead of time. So they're getting this together short notice because they thought that Congress was going to get off their ass and pass this bill, which they have not. So here comes Mr. Atkins. Now, I want to take you guys on a little ride here. So this is what's going on with the SEC and the CFTC. Okay, so they're going to likely vote yes on this. All right. Now, the consensus is like, this is a yes vote today. They just got to get through the formalities and things of that nature, right? So Friday, we're going to get that formal proposal, and then the new rules are going to go into effect. Now, here's the thing. And LMFG says the day after the Clarity Act vote fails, the SEC and the CFTC are coming out with their own rules. Absolutely, we're going to get into the rules. I do not think it will happen on this Friday's meeting, but we'll give them direction. We'll give direction. So I have to tell you, this is going to pass, LMFG. This has a big time pass initiative. It's going to pass. Now, the three members, I want to get into the nuances of this. This is the skinny. This is the Monty, the full Monty of what's going on here. Okay. CCP says Atkins looks weird. He looks like a Muppet. He really does. You know, there's a Muppet show. You remember the guys that they're on the balcony when the Muppet show came on? He looks like one of those guys, but I digress. You throwing me off, CCP. I'm trying to keep on track here. Suzuki says, come on, get on the a-hole dev section. Yeah, absolutely. Got to, bro. Three members. Let's dive in. This is the deep dive. There's three members of the commission. All right. Entirely Republican. This is what we're dealing with, which is good. They love crypto. Chair Paul Atkins, who has repeatedly flagged this exact crypto regulation as tailored as offering regimes a core priority. This is what they're doing of his crypto project. You remember the Atkins speech about the Project Crypto agenda? You remember that? Okay. This is his time in the sun. This is his time in the lights, right? He's going to shine. So given the short notice scheduling right after the Clarity Act stalled, which it has stalled officially in the Senate, the agency is clearly treating this as a regulatory fallback. Approval of the proposal is expected this week. So this is what's happening. This is the core. He does look like a Muppet. I'm sorry. He does look like a Muppet. So Atkins has publicly outlined the architecture in multiple speeches, all right? Formally in March of 2026 of this year. Big time speech about this. He knew what was going to happen. Mr. Atkins knew that Congress was full of shit and he knew he was going to have to do this year. So here we are, okay? Here is the core three. Listen to this now. This is what's coming. Startup exemption. Now, at a limited time registration exemption, this is what's going to be in place. This is number one. Commonly discussed as up to 4 years. We're talking startup exemption, guys. We're talking new startup of an ecosystem or mainnet or a particular altcoin project, DeFi app, things of that nature. This is pretty interesting. Okay. So again, a time limited registration exemption commonly discussed as up to 4 years for offerings of investment contracts that involve certain crypto assets. This would give early stage projects a regulatory runway to develop the network without full Securities Act's registration. So as you already know, under the Clarity Act, most of the altcoins in the space right now, up to 90% of them are ancillary tokens because of the way they were launched, because of the involvement of the dev team, marketing, things of that nature, all the TG shit, all that. Okay. Ancillary token, security, you fall up under the SEC, right? There's going to be a startup exemption up to 4 years before you even classified under this rule. I think this is a whole lot better than starting from ground up, retroactively going back and saying you're a security just because you did this. I don't think that's fair because a lot of the altcoins, a lot of ecosystems, they fall up under the Safe Harbor Act because a lot of the devs have relinquished their control. These ecosystems they're gone. They're doing great things. They're not controlled by the devs anymore. They're moving autonomously. So I think this is better to get a startup exemption. So that's one of the core initiatives right here. Here's the next one that's going to go into place here. Fundraising exemption. Now, a new dedicated exemption allowing projects to raise up to a defined cap. And this is a parenthesis here. Atkins has issued 75 million in a 12-month period as a illustrative figure or a cap or an exemption tool, right? This is the parameters here. Up to 75 million within a year. All right. Fundraising exemption. While still being able to stack other existing exemptions as well, like your startup exemption. Okay. So these exemptions can be stacked as well. This is great for startups. It really is. Disclosures would be streamlined as well across the board at a later date after the exemptions have actually run their course. Crypto specific focusing on development milestones, tokenomics or token mechanics, if you will, governance, risk, and ongoing managerial efforts rather than traditional corporate financials. So we're getting into fundraising now. We're getting into startup situations now. You're going to have a buffer. You're going to be able to, do this without being labeled a security. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to have to pass the test, maybe the blockchain test. Maybe there'll be some safe harbor situations that the devs can actually funnel themselves through just to extract themselves from it. So their said, built situations can move like commodities going forward, because it's going to be very important to be distinguished whether you're a security or commodity, because you're going to be moving differently under each umbrella. Commodities, way easier situation. If you're going to be governed by the SEC, there's endless disclosures, right? There's compliance, cost, essentially. Millions of dollars. You're going to have a legal team. You're going to have to provide backdoor. You're going to have to do code audits, regular code audits. And if you're, servicing on a financial standpoint, that's a whole nother situation of compliance and disclosure forms and legal team fees, things of that nature, right? So it can get very expensive to be an actual decentralized finance platform or an altcoin that is facilitating any kind of trading or holding or movements or transactions based on RWAs, tokenized assets. That compliance cost is going to be pretty high. You're going to make money, but that's where we're going. But you're not going to be a commodity, especially if there's dev interactions there, especially if it's not moving like Bitcoin autonomously. There's going to be cost involved that a lot of devs don't have. A lot of these platforms are broke. A lot of these developers are broke. They don't have the money. So only the actual true devs stand up. You got to have capital. You have to be a real businessman. You have to, because I'm going to tell you guys, a lot of these devs that are building right now in this space, they couldn't franchise a fucking Chick-fil-A. Okay. But they're building in this space with no knowledge of business. There are a lot of those guys in this space right now that are just basement building in under their grandmother's home. Okay. They have no business savvy at all. They've not ran a business ever. They have no degrees in market, none of that. They're just using AI, coding, and whatever. I'm not trying to jump on all because we have legitimate builders, but a lot of them they're bullshit, right? And they're just milking you, okay? So this is why we need these rules. And these exemptions are great for the real devs, right? That are actually wanting to bring product to us that we can invest in, make some money in, and actually use as well. And these are going to have full exposure because of the language that is going to be coming up, whether we get it in September or 2030. The infrastructure is very important for mass adoption to get us well over 10 trillion globally, okay? To get our TVL well into the hundreds of billions and the trillions. You got to have language. You got to have infrastructure. And this is what Russia has done. This is what the UK has done. This is what MICA is for in Europe. They're doing it. We're behind the fold. So yeah, the fundraising exemption, startup exemption, this is great for startups. This is great for real devs and real investors who are trying to partake and make money in this space, okay? You're going to have these buffers. You're going to be able to raise money without the SEC over, because the previous laws are crazy with that. This is what XRP went through for years. Number 3, investment contract safe harbors. And Suzuki says, listen to the man. He's not lying about living in mom's basement, having Chick-fil-A budgets. I'm not joking, bro. You got to be careful. IACCP says, did Satoshi intend to have so much institutional involvement? No, he didn't. This is not the actual premise of the blockchain. No, he did not. I think he's rolling in his grave right now. Okay. This is not what he built Bitcoin for. Bitcoin was not built for this. This is why they're trying to fork it and do all this weird shit with it, because they know it's not built for the future, not for where we're going. It's not built for that. It's too slow. And there's issues with this. And I know people love inscriptions, and I know, I don't want to get into that barking event, but Bitcoin's not built for this. Okay. It is not. It's a storage of wealth. It's digital gold. It wasn't built for all these shenanigans. But people, this is why they're trying to fork it. All these proposals are coming up. They're trying to morph and contort Bitcoin. And they're trying to mold it into something that it was not built for. But I digress. So let's get into the investment contract safe harbor, because this is a part of Suzuki. This is a part. Now, this is a get out of jail free card for a lot of bad devs. Okay, that's the bad news. Okay. Let me give you the skinny on this. So once the issuer or a dev has completed or permanently abandoned, I love the way they put this in parentheses. I'm going to say this again. Once the issuer has completed or permanently abandoned the said project, the essential managerial efforts essentially have been completely abandoned. And it's promised or promises that it gave the investors prior to the launch of the token, and the tokens are sold by this team, the underlying crypto asset can exit security status. So if a developer, I'll say this again, completely abandons a project, okay, and exits all essential managerial efforts, completely drops it, right? Under this particular safe harbor or off-ramp is what the code word is, investment contract safe harbor or off-ramp for the dev. They can completely exit this situation and not be held responsible or liable for anything. They just have to pull away, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna read this again entirely. This is what's coming. Once a dev has completely or permanently abandoned the essential managerial efforts it promised when the tokens were sold or offered to the investors, the underlying crypto asset can exit security status and the devs basically walk free. Secondary trading would then generally fall outside the SEC jurisdiction, aligning with the easier or earlier SEC CFTC token taxonomy that we saw earlier this year. Did a big symposium on this that treats most network tokens as digital commodities, collectibles, and tools as non-securities. Now, I'm gonna give you a great example of this. Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is the greatest example of this, okay? You all know the spiel. You know the full Monty about what happened with Shiba Inu. It is an orphaned commodity right now because of this rule. The team completely abandoned Shiba Inu. They milked it dry. There's no more milk in the udder. So it's just kind of like floating in the wind, kind of moving with the current right now. It's an abandoned entity, okay? So you had Shibarium, you had all these other things, Leash, What was the other bullshit tokens that they launched, that team launched? Leash, Bone, what was the other one? Treat, all the bullshit, okay? All that happened after they abandoned Shiba Inu. Now that thing, people still trade this thing. It had a lot of volume recently because it was deemed a commodity, but it was quickly sold, okay? Feel bad for those people who bought shit because they were quickly decimated, their backs. So they're probably crying right now. This is the perfect example of this safe harbor or off ramp for the devs, right? All they have to do is move away completely. Suzuki. It is what it is. Yeah, I hear you, man. We'll see. Well, SHIB, there's still, listen, there's a lot of cope there. A lot of hope too as well. So, people are going to continue to actually buy SHIB. I see it all. I saw a guy put $5,000 into SHIB right after the commodities status. Who in their right mind would put $5,000 in SHIB? Well, he did. I don't know if it's a guy or a woman. I don't know. I just seen the transaction right after that commodities status was dropped. Who fucking does that? I don't know. Was it a bot? I don't know. But people still do things like that, right? And maybe that guy was a billionaire. Maybe it was that 5K was nothing. It's peanuts. If he lost it, yeah, I got $1 billion in the bank. I can understand that. That's peanuts. But I don't know. Well, when I see things like that, it worries me, right? What are we doing? But this is the great example. Shiba Inu is a great example. And you have other, and again, you guys know what happened, You know what happened. The dev team completely milked SHIB dry. Yeah, no, I'm not joking. LMFG. SHIB has been deemed a commodity because it falls up under the lines of the safe harbor off-ramp rule. The dev teams completely abandoned it. And once you do that, it moves from being a security or any type of affiliation into a security ship, right? Up under that umbrella, it moves to the CTF's guidance. And any secondary trading on an abandoned coin, right, is a commodity. It's not governed under the SEC. It's a CFTC situation under the taxonomy and token rules. It's a non-security. So a lot of devs are going to use this as an off-ramp, especially if there's liquidity still left. They're gonna drain it. They're gonna get the hell out. They're gonna use this law. This is why I don't like it. As far as investors, on the other side, the flip side, is really bad, because if you're not paying attention to what that dev team is doing, if you're not paying attention to what's going on with the platform, if it's going down, there's a hole in the bow and the water's coming in, you better jump ship. You better find you a life raft, right? And if you can cash out, if you can at least, pull out and sell what you can, get out. Get into the chopper, if there is a chopper. I don't know what to say, but this is what's coming. So it's like, yeah, SHIB to the moon. Yeah, SHIB's not going to the moon. So these are the core initiatives you have here. Startup exemption, which I like. You have your fundraising exemption. A lot of devs need that because a lot of devs are coming in piss poor. They got product, they have infrastructure, but they have no money. So they're coming to us, invest in my coin, guys. I don't have a fucking pot to piss in, but I do have a blockchain I coded. Invest in it. Give me your money. We're going to do great things. You have a lot of that's coming because a lot of them are going to use this safe harbor law to off-ramp. But the fundraising exemption and the startup exemption, this is great for real devs. This is great for real product that's coming. It gives them time to make money within a year. It gives them time to actually start up without securities, situations, investment contract, things that can fall forth. They're not going to be deemed anything essentially until after the exemption. This is not all bad, right? So Suzuki says, where half that SHIB team went starts with man, you're being a bad boy. Yeah, no, I know the spiel, bro. Yeah, I get what you're saying, bro. So the goal in its entirety here, what Mr. Atkins is doing, the Muppet. Okay. The overall goal is to fit for purpose, unquote. This is a fit for purpose. This is something we can slide in while the Congress gets their shit together. Okay. I don't like the off ramp for the devs, but I do like the actual exemptions. And I do like the fact that they're not going to touch the stablecoin argument. We're going to still be able to get our yield. And probably to 2030, we'll be able to continue to get our yield by just holding stablecoins. I love it. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but MetaMask, that particular stablecoin they have in the MetaMask wallet, I think the yield is up to almost 7%. So you jump and you convert some crypto into you talk about consolidating and kind of waiting on the sidelines to see what happens. 7-point yield is nothing to sneeze at. You're not getting that at your credit union. I just want to put that in there. Okay, so the overall goal is a fit for purpose type of situation they're going to install. They're going to vote on it this week. Just to wrap this up, the regime that replaces the one-size-fits-all application of the 1930s era security rules is coming. All right, it's coming. So we're pushing back the 1930s, which was crazy. And I'm going to say this name because I know it triggers people. But you know who I'm talking about. 1930s rules. This is what they were going to copy and paste these laws into our space. You can't do that. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to trigger anybody, but the guy that was previously in the seat, this is what he was using, 1930s laws. We're not doing that. Paul Atkins is saying we're not doing that. Okay. Suzuki, tell him, bro. Tell him. So this is what we have coming. Okay. This is what we have coming. So I have to say this too before we move on, because I want to get into this, the index. There's a really interesting situation going on with this particular token on Robinhood chain. The actual tailored laws here and the security rules, they're tailored for crypto projects to succeed, not to fail. All right. This is what the 1930s situation would have done. You know what I'm saying? It would have completely collapsed the altcoin market if we didn't have these new rules. Rule by the times, not by the past times. We can't take these 1930s draconian rules and layer them on top of crypto. We'll completely smother our space. This is not what Atkins is going to do. Okay, so investor protection, we're talking anti-fraud rules, basic disclosures. This is all going to remain in place, which is great. I'm good for that. But the compliance burden for legitimate builders would drop significantly. And that's the key point that I want to make. Okay. It's going to get easier. And when it comes to compliance burdens, they're going away. No 1930 era compliance rules. It's going to go away. Okay. It's going to go away. So what's your take? You know, are you liking it, or are you enjoying the fact that the Congress has failed us? Right? They're about to go. You know, they're going to be out of here pretty soon. And the September 15th vote is irrelevant. It's just a show. They're not going to get the votes. So I'm looking forward to what Paul is going to say here this week. This is what we have coming here. Fit for purpose, getting away from 1930s laws, right? We're still going to have anti-fraud rules there, basic disclosures. The SEC is still going to do what the SEC does, right? But they're going to actually conform these rules, and they're not going to copy and paste, but they're going to make it to where it's going to allow these devs to prosper. They're not going to be up under this storm cloud of events, of disclosures, you know, and probes and things of that nature. You saw what happened with Gary Gensler. I'm going to go ahead and say his name. Okay. So this is what's going on here. So in short, expect a clear green light on the proposal Friday. It's going to pass. Okay. These are my predictions, followed by a package that creates practical capital raising paths. This is what we need. And an explicit exit round for security status once projects mature. That is your off ramp for bad devs, essentially. It's not all bad, but that's just my take on that. That is the direction Atkins is about to take this space, all right? And the current commission as well. They've been signaling this for months, and they talked about this in March of 2026, earlier this year. So we should have saw it coming. And if you thought Congress is going to be competent and they're going to actually competently pass laws, they never do this shit. They never pass competent law. They never pass anything that's logical. They always pass the bullshit. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into this magnificent platform before we get out of here. Okay. And we're talking RWAs. I absolutely love this platform. I absolutely love it. It's quite new too as well. So we're going to talk about the index. Now, I want to bring this to you before we close. This is one of those altcoins that it's going to be completely massive. And a lot of altcoins that move like this, and even the facilitators too as well, like your blockchain tech, like AVAX, even Polkadot, right? Even Cardano, if they get their shit together. ETH is going to be a massive tokenization giant as well. Solana is getting geared up for a massive tokenized commodity movement. You name it, XLM, you name it off the board, Sui Chain, all of them, Canton. All of these particular RWA-based platforms are going to be massive, and they're getting pretty low in price too as well because of the actual consensus, the actual fear-based market movements right now. The macro, very negative, I'm sorry. Geopolitics, we talked about that earlier. These are great buying opportunities for things of this nature. So you're looking at the index. Now, this is pretty simple to explain here. It's not hard what they're doing, but it's very new. This is the first of its kind. When it comes to RWA involvement, when it comes to the commingling of crypto and stocks, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. Now, this is an index token. This has been built on the Robinhood layer 2. Now, I don't know, a lot of you, when I bring this up to people, they're like, oh, the meme chain, the new meme chain. Well, this is how they start. A lot of early blockchains, this is how ETH was. It was a meme chain for a while. BNB was a shitcoin chain for a while. Benji, what's going on, brother? He says Pure is being big in Pure Wallet. You're talking about Pure Wallet. That's an amazing wallet. I don't know why those guys don't market the Pure Wallet. I don't know what they're doing. I don't see much. Let's just say I did a couple of videos on it, but I used to see Awesome Austin. He used to talk about it a lot. I don't see him anymore. The Pure Wallet is amazing, man. I use it. They just did an update, I believe. That is the only wallet that you can go offline and trade assets and coins. You can move it from wallet to wallet. You can move Bitcoin. You can send Bitcoin to another Pure Wallet holder off fucking chain. You can send NFTs off chain. You can literally move assets, digital assets off freaking chain with that wallet. It's crazy. And they're going to be doing RWAs too. It's a massive, that's a massive situation. Massive. And a lot of people don't know about it because they just choose not to really talk about it. They're just, that dev team, they're in Korea. So they're just putting their head down. They're just building. I get it. But they need to really get that out of there. People need to understand that that's another option. That is, we use Phantom, we use MetaMask, we use all this. That is another really solid option that allows you to literally flip a toggle switch and take your wallet status from hot to cold. Just by a flip of a toggle switch. And then in that cold state, you can move assets offline. Show me a wallet that can do that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's get to the index. So this particular altcoin based and built on the L2, Robin L2, it is magnificent. Let me go ahead and get into what we got here, because when you look at these this is a portfolio of the actual supported stocks that you're going to get when you're holding this token. Now, this particular situation, we're talking about Apple, AMD, Amazon, energy stocks. You have Coinbase too as well in this basket. This thing is growing too, by the way. This is quite new. This just went live, guys, this quarter, early this quarter. Google, Intel, Meta, you have your tech, Microsoft, Micron, NVIDIA, Oracle, Palantir, SanDisk Corporations, even SpaceX, which is down, I think, 3%, Tesla, USA Rare Earth. You have minerals, you have tech, you have energy, you have a complete basket, essentially. This is what's happening here now. I want to get into what's going on. So the process of this situation. This is a DApp, guys. This is an actual application that's built on the Robinhood chain, okay? Now, this is going to allow you to actually accrue this token, obviously. Now, the benefits, this is what I look for in my altcoins. I got to have some type of use case. It has to be associated with a platform that's actually going to be used, not only by me, but by the public, and is going to be widely adopted across the board. And this is what you have here. This token, number one, you buy the token. It's called the index token, all right? This thing trades through Uniswap version 4 index, ETH pool. This is the pair, okay? Now, this is the thing that's so cool about this. Once you hold over 10,000 of these tokens, you cross that threshold. And I like to call it the dividend threshold. Okay. And the LMFG said index community on index corporate to do both give rewards and stocks. I don't know about the corporative side, but I do know this token gives out shares and the basket keeps growing. I don't know about that split, brother. I got to look into that, but I know this particular situation here, this is automated. This is going to be deemed a commodity. Okay. So you have this token, you cross the threshold of 10K. This opens up something that has never been seen in crypto once you cross that threshold. Okay. 3% of every trade gets put into a treasury that buys shares. All right. This ETH is collected and it is put in a treasury. And this treasury is automated. Okay. It's coded. It automatically buys shares and they're distributed every hour to the qualified holders that have crossed the threshold of 10,000 tokens. And we're talking about shares. We're not talking about giving you staking and getting rewards of the same token. Okay. We're talking about holding a freaking coin that's tethered to RWAs. We're not talking about, you don't have to get a special wallet to get these shares. We're talking about tokenized commodities here. These stocks are already tokenized. Okay. These are RWAs. These tokenized commodities that have already been tokenized and moved into the arena on chain 24/7 trading. This is what's coming. This is why any facilitator that's in this arena is going to prosper. It's going to do very well. And any set coin or token that's attached to this type of facilitator is going to do very well because this is where we're going. Everything is about to be tokenized. This platform, these devs are just getting ahead of the ball game. I don't see anybody else doing this with their tokenomics. But of course, you know, you got to be ready for it. You got to have some capital. Like I told you, a lot of the devs in this space are broke financially ruined. You know, their projects and their platforms are dormant because they're broke. You know, they've milked the community, so they have no money. You know, they didn't appropriate their money and allocate their funds properly. So they're broke. They look weird right now. Very quiet. So I digress from that. After the fees are collected, remember 3% of every trade, man, is put into this treasury, all automated. This distribution is cycled every freaking hour to the qualified holders. Okay. Distributors send the stocks under an active on-chain rules. And this is all on-chain, guys. This is not some weirdo in a basement that's doing this. This is all automated. This is coded. It's on-chain. This thing does this on the right. It is flawless. I've been involved. It's flawless. I'm receiving dividends. I'm getting shares. I've never had a token in my portfolio that is giving me shares. Welcome to the show, Mom. I hope you're doing great. I've never held a token like this. I'm pretty excited about this. It is new. You know, there's smart contract risk, obviously. But so far, so fucking good. And this team is very active and they have introduced more products to as well. It's going to grow these dividends. You can actually build your own fund and give out your own dividends to your holders. You can actually do that on the new platform that is created. And they have their own RWA platform, their marketplace attached to this as well. We'll get into that in just a minute because you can trade your shares that you're getting, your distributions on there, or this is a really cool part. You can actually compound your shares and move them, that actual amount, compound it right back into index and start all over again. If you want to build your index back by the actual shares you're getting, you can do that. You can just compound, or you can just stack the shares and you can go into this arena right here, which is the actual, this is going to be, I don't think you guys can see that. Hold on. Boom. Okay. So you can go here. This is part of the platform. This is an RWA actual trading platform to where once you do log in, you know, and your wallet is connected, you know, and there's ways to do that safely as well. That's in the video. I think the video is live. You can take your shares and go in and trade them within the same app. It's crazy. So the shares, the actual dividends you're getting, you can take them into this app. They're going to come up once you're signed in. You're going to see your wallet distributions right here. Okay. And you can trade them amongst other RWAs within the platform. You don't even have to leave this app. So what we're talking about is something that I've never seen in this space before. Welcome to the show, Fearless. This token is going to set a standard. Now it is on a new chain as well. And a lot of people associate Robinhood chain as a meme chain, a bullshit shit chain. okay, already because of what happened, right? I think they did that just to get the word out because that's how a lot of chains start. They always go for the memers. They always go for the DJs just to get the momentum, right? That's okay. But the Robinhood chain developers, they've already turned the tide. They've already turned that corner. They're done with that. It's still going to exist. Who wouldn't generate those fees? I think they generated $12 million worth of fees within the first week of that launcher. Okay. So who's not going to milk that space like that? Come on, everybody's doing it. All the developers are doing it. But here comes the legitimate situation right here. The index. You buy this coin, you hold it, it gives you dividends of actual freaking stocks. Now, I already told you about the actual distributions. Now, this is what was handed out within the last couple hours. Over, I think it's 2,800 wallets. This is really young. A lot of people don't know about this, guys. So this thing is very early. You're very early with this. A lot of people don't understand what's going on, right? This is within the last hour. Over 28,000 wallets received NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, SpaceX, Apple, Meta, Tesla, Oracle, Palantir, AMD, Micron, Syndex, Coinbase. You name it. And this is a really balanced basket of energy stocks. Okay. It is US tradable. You can get it. You can fire up your MetaMask right now and buy it. It's on ETH. It's on the ETH buy. It's the L2. It's on the Robinhood chain. You can buy with ETH. Okay. Or USDT, or USDC. You can fire it up in your MetaMask, or you can download the Robinhood wallet and access this as well. So we're talking a nice basket of energy, nice basket of tech. All right. Rare minerals, USAR. That's a rare minerals situation right there. Index is currently 008. Absolutely. I'm telling you, very early. It's a very low token supply too, as well. You're so early with this. A lot of people don't understand. This is going to be huge. Who does not want to hold a coin that's giving you stocks? They're being tokenized assets. Actually, these are RWAs. You're getting these drops just by holding this. Who is doing this? No one else but now. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to copy this, right? But I like to get involved with the initials, with the trendsetters, right? I don't want to get involved with the copy and pasting, the redundant shit. This is the first. This is numero uno. They did it first. This is crazy what's going on here. And they are continuing to develop this as well. Yeah, it's the Robinhood chain, Suzuki. Yeah, if you can hit me up, man, on X in my DM, and I'll give you a little bit more information. No, I'm not joking. See, a lot of people laugh about Robinhood chain, bro, because of how it started out. They too, but look at what we have here. This, if you really pull back and peel back the layers, this is what's happening. And you have to understand what Robinhood. It's a broker, bro. This is a huge exchange, massive stocks. This is what Robinhood has done. Now they're blending and they're crossing over on chain. And they're leveraging these tokenized assets. And this platform right here, which is an independent dev team that have layered and actually built on this L2, this magnificent situation that is allowing you to gather and basically get dividends and stock dividends by just holding this token. Crazy. Over 1.2 million distributed. Thousands of dollars have made over almost a full ETH fees collected today. Okay. This is, you're so early with this. So I just wanted to talk about this before I closed out and did the member giveaway, because I think this is where we're going. This is the new tokenomic standard, right? People are not going to want to just, staking is cool, but you want to stake something that's profitable. These are live stocks that are being traded on the stock market that you're getting in your wallet, and they're tokenized. They just drop in your wallet. I'm not joking, guys. Nice basket, and it's just going to continue to grow. This particular basket is going to continue to grow. And this dev team is right on it. This is the trend. So if you're dealing with anything of this nature, you're going to win, because everything is about to be tokenized. I'm not joking. Everything. The real estate hasn't even kicked off yet. You have different projects like Lofty. There you can get tokenized, fractionalized real estate. You can buy into real estate on a fractional level. That exists. But a lot of people don't know about Lofty. Okay? Because all you hear about is memes and Bitcoin and Michael Saylor, all the bullshit. You don't hear about index. You don't hear about these tokens that you can buy, and actually they have business. They have actual use case. It is intrinsic. It is the core of this app, right? And it is giving you freaking stocks. tokenized assets. It's called the Bird's Brain. It's called the index token. You're looking at the website. This thing is amazing. Oh, you can easily tokenize real estate. CCP. That thing it's already been done. On a fractional level, you can get involved right now on platforms like Lofty. It's on that Lofty is actually built on the Algorand blockchain. A lot of people don't know because all the influencers talk about is the bullshit. But you could easily get involved with tokenized real estate, and it's on the Algorand blockchain. It's called Lofty. Fractionalized real estate is about to take off, man. Yeah, it's on the Robinhood chain. Yeah, you can easily get this on the MetaMask, or you can get the Robinhood wallet. All right, but you can easily tokenize real estate. You can tokenize your car. Let's say if you got a car for sale, hell, you can tokenize clothing. Anything can be tokenized. You know, dildos, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, you can tokenize it. This is the way going forward. So if you're facilitating this type of activities, you're going to do so well. If I'm building something, I want it to be able to actually facilitate RWA traffic. I want my blockchain to be involved in payments. I want my blockchain to actually be able to actually, accept any dev that wants to build a token RWA marketplace, whether it be real estate, commodities, any type of asset. I want to be able to give you an atmosphere to prosper, to succeed. I want my foundation to be secure, very, very quick, right? Very fast, be able to have finality, abilities that are, rival Solana and Monad. And I want to be able to give you a DeFi infrastructure as well. This is what I would build, but a lot of that tech is built, right? So like Monad and Solana, top notch. When it comes to this type of things, Robinhood L2 is doing great with this. Look at what Index has done with the L2. Robinhood, very new chain, very new concept. This is what you're looking at. Look at all this shit. Look at what they're giving out on this token. Just by you holding this token, look at what you're freaking getting. You're getting stocks, tokenized stocks. Every hour drop to you. And again, there's a threshold, 10,000 tokens. Now I got to tell you guys, this token right here, this particular token, I don't think it's going to remain cheap like this too long. And the reason why I say that, you look, it's down 16% within a 24-hour period, and a lot of things are down. The actual token supply is very, very small too as well. It's 1 billion. Okay. So I already like that. That checked the box out before I even realized what was going on with this. And I'm going to close with this. There's a major use case for this coin. It's giving out freaking dividends of stocks, okay, on an hourly basis. The actual mechanism is transparent. The team is completely transparent, and they continue to add to the basket. It's only going to grow. And they've actually launched a platform that will allow you to build your own fund and service your own participants and give out your own dividends. You could do the same thing they're doing, and you could do it on their platform. And plus, there's an embedded RWA marketplace that you can trade your own accumulated stocks. I hate CCP. I don't understand RWAs. But we'll talk. I'll do a video. I'm going to tell it what is an RWA. I love doing deep dives. I love talking about it. You need to know, bro, because you could embed your own products in the marketplace, and your own real world assets. You can commoditize them, and you can do what you're going to be able to do that. And I think you're going to be able to open whatever you're selling, whatever you're dealing to the world with this type of infrastructure. Yeah, tokenizing assets, you're converting your physicals and you're bringing them on chain. I need to get your information so we can give it. I'll just do the video and I'll put it up on the channel on how you could, and I'll give you the whole process of how you can take a house in real life and tokenize it and put it in a marketplace and actually do a sale, because that's exactly what's happening in a fractionalized arena right now when it comes to real estate. You can digitize it. You can do geo mapping. You can actually do a three-dimensional run through, with a lot of apps, and do some VRs, show your product online digitally, and you can actually tokenize it and sell it. I'll give you an example. GM has been flirting with this for the past 5 years. They actually did a pilot program with the Corvette, and they actually tokenized the Corvette, and they used the NFT standard, and they put it in a marketplace, and it was essentially sold as an NFT. Okay, in this particular marketplace, it was bought for $200,000. Okay, so the guy bought the NFT, the tokenized product, and actually received the Corvette, was delivered the Corvette, because once he bought that was the tokenized ticket. That was a sale. It was an overseas buyer. He didn't even live in the actual US. He bought that GM vehicle online because it was tokenized. It was in the marketplace, and received ownership. So that was a good example of a physical object being tokenized, put it in the marketplace, and sold. You can do the same thing with a home. You can geomap the area. You can do VR. You can put it on to where people can do virtual tours, and you can tokenize it and sell it. And your exposure is greater than you would if you were working with a real estate agent locally. Just think about the exposure you get on your product. It's interesting. And then, the whole blockchain aspect of it, that's a whole nother story. But just to get back on the actual index token, guys, look at this. I'm not trying to push this on you, but I think that you're very early with this situation. You're getting a massive dip right now. Get you 10K. I'm not lying to you about the distributions. Completely love it. I'm looking at mine right now, and I'm like, I can't believe this shit. I'm getting these stocks. I don't have to go buy them now. They're basically a benefit. I'm getting dividends from holding this token. It's pretty interesting what's going on. I can't believe it, actually. I want to pinch myself. This is what's to come. A lot of people are going to copy this concept going forward. I'm sticking with index. They trendsetted it. This is the first of its kind. I just wanted to bring this to you. The token is down almost 200%. 2 zeros and an 8. This is a perfect time to get you 10K at a cheap price. I think I'm going to double up on my bag actually during this dip, so I can get even more stocks. Right now, I'm gonna be real with you. If this token hits $1, it's going to be very hard for me to sell it. But with that being said, just the benefits alone will make me hold it, because I know I'm going to continue to get these stocks. But man, I could clearly see this getting to $1 really easy with this small token. I'll digress. I'm getting too involved. So the Robinhood chain is very new, right? This product that's wrapped in the middle of all this meme activity on this L2, which everybody's concerned about. They're concerned about Cash Cat, Tendies, Pawns, Pipe Dog, whatever Pipe Dog is. That's pretty weird, but whatever. Everybody's concerned about that, but they're not concerned about the legitimate players on this L2, like Index. This is a diamond in a rough. This diamond is surrounded by so much rough, and I'm talking the meme activity. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it, right? So I'm gonna get into some questions here. Let's see some questions here. Suzuki says real world assets and cryptocurrency. Oh, he gave a definition of it. Real world assets are physical or traditional finance assets, such as real estate, government bonds, gold, or company equity. Absolutely, you can tokenize anything right now, bro. So Suzuki, appreciate that explanation there. But I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna dedicate a video. I'm gonna do a deep dive on the process of taking a home and actually tokenizing it, putting it in the marketplace and selling it. I'm going to give you that process. It's pretty interesting. You can do that. You can copy and paste that on any type of real world product. And your exposure is great when you tokenize something that you're selling. It's absolutely fantastic. Your exposure is across the pond. You can sell something, I digress. And it's on chain, instant finality, no third party. It's great. And we're going to get another Monad upgrade too as well, brother. I love Monad, man. I got so much to say about that. Actually, there's a new event coming up too as well. But we're going to do a deep dive on TVL. That's coming up as well. And some updates too. When it comes to this tokenized arena, massive blockchain. Monad, massive blockchain. So LMFG says, do you have to have index on the Robinhood chain in order to get? No, you don't. This is the thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So if you invest in index, you can just have it in your MetaMask wallet. These stocks are tokenized. Okay, they're paired to the real stocks, so the price moves the same. These are RWA. So these are digital copies of real stocks, and they run in tandem. The price tracing is equal. Okay, they're just tokenized. They're RWA. So they're on the actual L2 Robin chain. Now, Robinhood is a broker, so that gap is very slim. It's a very thin gap. So they know what the hell they're doing. You get what I'm saying? And I think some Robinhood devs are probably on the dev team of the index. This may be very close to the dev team. I digress from that. I'm just saying, these are not stocks. You don't have to hold these. The stocks are not going into your E-Trade while you don't have to get an E-Trade or whatever. If you have the index in your MetaMask, your stocks, your tokenized varieties are going to be landing in your MetaMask. You're going to be able to see them in your MetaMask, your Apple, your Google, your Met, all that. You're going to be able to see it. And you can go on the index platform too, right here. You can go right here. I use the platform, right? I go here and I connect here. You can set up your email. You can set up your security features or whatever. And you just connect, right? And you can see your distributions. You can see what happened today. You can see everything that's going into your wallet. You can do some trading as well. There's actually a swap too. I didn't show you guys that. On the index platform, you have a swap to where you can buy the tokenized versions if you want to just, buy some stocks yourself. It uses ETH, okay? And you can buy your tokenized varieties, or you can just reap the benefits of holding the token and get your drops for free. This is badass, man. I'm telling you, this is really, really interesting. And not a lot of people are talking about this. So this is your time to get a really nice bag of this token, 008. This is great time to get that 10K or whatever you want to get before this thing explodes. Because once the word gets out, once they really start really getting on X and really shouting this, the X page is very, very active. But a lot of people are still concerned about memes and Bitcoin and Michael Saylor and geopolitics. While this gem is just percolating. Get involved now. Do your research too. Okay, get into the documentations and all that good stuff. But you can literally buy index to here when you connect your wallet. I just used my MetaMask, guys. That's all I did. Okay, that's what I did. You get the contract, put it in your MetaMask, load up some ETH, get you some index, and then fire you up a cigar and watch your stocks drop into your wallet. It's literally that simple. And then you can trade too as well. Right now, here's the cool part about it. Let's say you want to sell your stocks, right? That you are generating in your wallet. It's a button right here that says zap all into index. So what it does is it basically sells all your, tokenized stocks that you have gotten over time, right? And it basically buys index with the sum, the result of the sale. It's called Zap All into Index. You just click this one button. It compounds every stock that you've generated into index. And you start all over. So this is a great way to pump you back without even using your own money. This shit is amazing. Okay. And I just want to bring this to you. So it's the index as we, get out of here. It's called the index. And this is what's happening, man. Over 664 ETH collected already. Very interesting situation we have here. So just keep in mind, it's only 28 holders of this token. 1 billion token supply. We looked at the actual chart here. Great buy at this point in time at 008. 1 billion token supply. That's all I'm going to say. This thing is set to explode once the word gets out and once everybody really starts reaping the benefits of this. So to close with that before we get to, I got to get out of here. What is it? Yeah, going on almost 2 hours. Freaking hell. So $63,000. This is what we're looking at Bitcoin, guys. It's going to consolidate right here. These ETF vehicles are going to keep this at 60K, above 60K. All right. You have a dollar situation. I didn't even get into what's going on in Japan. Complete powder keg. That financial nuclear bomb is about to go off. Financial nuclear bomb. I'm not talking about a real nuke. Financial. I got to stress that on YouTube. That's about to go off. So that's a whole nother video that's going to cause major mayhem with the carry trade. If you know what the yen carry trade is, that thing is going to implode and you're going to see a giant sucking sound. It's going to be a huge vacuum and liquidity is going to go elsewhere. We'll recover, but I don't think a lot of people are ready for that outcome, but we may talk about that too later this week. But with that being said, you have $63,000. Don't worry about Bitcoin. Just worry about what Atkins is going to say this week. Please do yourself a favor. Get to know the index token. It's on the Robinhood L2. Don't think meme, think legitimacy, think RWAs with this, think grabbing this token and getting you some stocks drop into your wallet and just reap the benefits, okay? Because like I told you, it's not going to be this cheap soon. You're rolling into 2027 first quarter. You very well may see this token at $2 freaking. Okay? He said, can you put the Muppet pitch back up one more time? You want to see the Muppet? He wants to see the Muppet. One more time. Bird's Brainsism. But I think I messed your name up, bro. I don't mean to mess your name up. But where's the Muppet? There he goes. There you go. CCP. One last question. What do you got, bro? Before we get out of here, I'll wait on your question. And there's the Muppet. I'm gonna make sure I got the members wheel situated, and make sure I got everybody on this wheel. So I don't want to miss anybody. Okay, I need to add 2 more members. So let's see here. There you go. See, that yeah, he does. I swear to God, he looks like the Muppet. God bless him. God bless him. So I need to put Saya and Larry, and I'm waiting on Bird's question. Yeah, he said he had one last question. So we're gonna put the 2 Larry and Saya, and we're gonna spin the wheel. We do a member giveaway every freaking week on the show. Okay, and it's for the members, and all you have to do is involve yourself with the member content. Comment, let me know what you think about the content, and then that's your ticket to get on this wheel for a Solana giveaway. We pick 3 members every day. So I have to do, I'm sorry, not every day, but every week, and all you have to do is become a member to get involved with this, and hopefully you enjoy the content. The more you buy, do you get more in stocks, or do you the dispersions evenly amongst holders? Okay, so I get what you're saying. So you're talking. This is a good question too. So when we're talking about the weight, right? So Bird said, the more you buy, do you get more in stocks? Absolutely. Or do they disperse evenly amongst holders, no matter how much you owe? So the threshold is 10K, Bird. So if you go above that, let's say you buy ETH of this token. Obviously your weight is going to increase, okay? And you get more tokens. You get, I'm sorry, not more tokens, you get more stocks. Your weight is increased there. So, and you'll see that on the actual dashboard on the website. Once you check in, once you put your wallet, you connect your wallet, it'll show you your weight. It'll actually show you the weight that you have, your percentage of the actual dividends that you're getting. It shows that, and it updates in real time. So yeah, so let's say you get an ETH, right? A full ETH, which is what is an ETH right now? I think it's I don't know what ETH is right now, but I think an ETH is $1,800. Let's say you spend $1,800, right? You're going to get 135,000 index tokens. So obviously your weight is going to be increased there, and you're going to get, you're going to get drops. But even at 10K, you're still getting stocks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Every hour, this distribution happens every freaking hour, not quarterly, right? Not annually, every freaking hour, you're getting these tech, energy, and mineral stocks. You're right. It is the token of the next decade. And that's what I'm bringing this to you, while we're looking at the Muppet here. Yeah, get involved, man. Listen, get involved. I did a standalone video too as well. The members had first view on it, but I think it's live right now. But it is the next token of the decade. And I think this is the next version of tokenomics that a lot of devs, if they're smart, they're going to copy this. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody's going to be able to do this because there's compliance issues right here. And I think the Robinhood team, they're going to be okay with it. And they're not going to have any problems being compliant. They're a broker. The Robinhood, this is something that they've been doing for quite some time, and they're moving all their stocks on chain via ETH and via Solana. And they're going to be leveraging Monad as well. Okay. And others as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the giveaway. I need to get these members here. CCP, man, you're killing me, bro. I need to do an AI picture. No, I'm not going to do that. That would be wrong, man. I don't want to do the guy like that, but I'm sorry. He looks like the Muppets that are on the balcony, man. They're the Muppet Show. They're always, the guys, they're always fucking with Kermit and Fozzie and shit. That's if you know the Muppet Show. He's one of them. But he's a good guy. He's going to try to give us some rules this week, so be looking for that. He's going to try to give us some good rules, and again, we'll see. So let's go ahead and get into this giveaway. So it's time to give away some soul, and I love doing this, hand clap to the members. No, that's not Tuberville. That's not Senator Tuberville. That is Mr. Atkins. He, good guy. Let's see what he does this week. We're gonna need him. We're gonna freaking need him because Congress is full of shit. I'm sorry, they're full of shit. So we have the wheel here. We're gonna spin this so we got other members here on the wheel, and we're gonna give away some Solana. Let's go. I need some more coffee today. So I think the first one is going to be Logan G910. So hand clap to you, Logan. All I need is that wallet, brother. Logan, I hadn't seen you on the wheel in a while, man. So congratulations. We need 2 more winners. Shot. I think it's going to be, I don't know, BB's 121 might get, no, so we got Ruvishai. So Ruvishai, I think that is Vanshi, Ruvishan. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm just going to say Ruv, right? Congratulations. One more. That's a good spin. So Birds, you got to become a member. Very, very cheap membership price. And I release member-only content every week, brother. And all you have to do is interact with the member comment, and that is your ticket on the wheel. So La La Land 786 is the last winner. So we got 3. And again, just to qualify for this, number 1, you have to be a member, obviously, and then interact with the member content that I release every week. And that is your ticket. I take those comments, and I take whoever made those comments, and then I pluck you off the comment section, and I put you on this wheel, and then we spin it every week. And this is me showing appreciation for the members and who they are. They're great people. Love you guys, and I just want to give back, right? And I like giving you guys membership content as well. You get the exclusive drops on the content too as well. So that's how you do it, brother. Benji, good to see you, brother. So I hope you guys are doing well. This is going to be a result of the actual winner circle, and we'll get out of here with the closing remarks. Logan is the first one. Number 2 is going to be Ru Venshai. I think that's what that is. And La La Land 786. Hand clap to the winners. What's going on, Ken? So this is what's going on now. You know, when it comes to the news, I don't really see, you know, we'll do a little slap back here. We'll take the Muppet off. We got to get him off. He's freaking me out, man. The Muppet is freaking me out. So I told you about the Russian news. Nothing really significant that's going on right now. Just a lot of bullshit. I'm just being honest with you. Just a lot of bullshit right now. A lot of consolidatory effort when it comes to Bitcoin, but when it comes to actual what's really happening here, just a lot of stagnation. Okay. And we're just worried about, you know, don't get me started on the UFO. The UFO thing is really, really, you know, colliding with a lot of news as well. The UFO drops, you know, that's kind of a, I don't want to say smoke screen because I'm into that type of stuff as well. But I want to know what's going on now. We have an actual shot of Elizabeth Warren. She's freaking out on the floor. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me break to this real quick. This is pretty much the sentiment of what's going on the floor here. And I think she fell. So this is what's going on the Senate floor. You know, this is a little crazy here. This is Elizabeth Warren. This is what's going on.
Voting in the affirmative. Baldwin, Blunt, Rochester,
this is terrible.
Urban,
this is our Congress. This is Congress. This is who we expect to set laws. Okay, for the crypto. They didn't know nothing about crypto. This is who we're depending on. This is Senator Warren. Jesus Christ, we're cooked. Fucking cooked. All right. So with that being said, you know, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. And this is what they call her. I got to show you this too. So this is what Loomis, Big Bank Elizabeth. This is what her nickname is on the floor. This is what Senator Loomis, and this is what they call her. And as you can see, she represents Wells Fargo, Citi, Fidelity, Credit Suisse, BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, American Express. This is who is in her pocket. So if we're depending on her to give us proper legislation in this space, we're done. It ain't happening. This is why I love what the SEC is doing. because these people, they are bought and paid by these entities. I love this picture because these people own Congress, and the banks do not like crypto. They don't like DeFi. They don't like the stablecoin yield we're getting. This is who we're fighting against. So I don't think they own Trump. That's the good thing. But Trump has his hands tied with geopolitics right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So we got the giveaway again. Listen, I hope you guys have a great day, and we're going to get out of here with that. And I just don't see anything else. Everything else is pretty bearish right now. So with that being said, be mindful of what I told you about index. Get you a bag. Get to know it as well. Do your research on it. And it's really, really interesting. The first of its kind, the token of the decade, possibly. All right. We'll see you. Have a good one.